Okay. Just turn that door. Yep. Okay, so good evening. Welcome to SPALC Marketing. My name is Robert Dodig. I am the Executive Director of Human Resources for the school district. I do not have a time constraint this evening. I believe our entire team is here. I do not have any elements, and my expectation is to get off to a good start.
I am Will Rothenberg. I'm doing well. I am the Director of Compensation and Labor Relations for the district. No time constraints. It looks like we're missing a couple people on the SPALC side. No elephants and expectation to get off to a good start.
Good evening. I'm Heather Leonard, the Director of Staffing, Talent Management, and Human Resources. I'm doing well this evening. Don't have any time constraints outside of our scheduled meeting this evening. I believe in this meeting have been noted, if you're on the south side, but on the district side, have no elements and expectations are to start off great.
Good evening. My name is Amy Desimore, and I'm just fine. I am the Chief Financial Officer with the school district. My time constraints are this evening. I'll have to leave by 5:30. My apologies for that. No elephants, and my expectations are that we get off to a good start.
Good evening, everyone. My name is Kevin Kelpie. I'm the Assistant Director for Staffing and Talent Management. I have no time constraints, no elephants, and my expectations to get off to a good start.
Good afternoon. My name is Roger Lloyd. I'm doing well. I'm the Executive Director of Transportation. I do not have any time constraints. I'm sure Scott will tell you who's missing. I do not have any elephants, and the expectations are to get off to a good start.
Hello, everybody. I'm Jason Kurtz, principal of Hector Calvert Elementary School. I don't have any time constraints. I think the missing will be noted. No elephants. Oh, I forgot to tell you, I'm doing amazing. My expectation is to get this party started.
Sorry, I'm Jamie Browder. I am the principal of Orangewood Elementary. I'm doing great, no time constraints. I do not know who all is missing, no elephants, and I'm gonna go with get the party started.
Good evening, my name is Matthew Kay. I'm the Director of Accountability Assessment and Research. I'm doing well. I got out of order there. I do have a time constraint tonight. I have to leave at 5 o'clock due to a family need, and I do not know who will be missing. This is my first time participating in this at all. And then my expectations, previously as a 12-year member of TALC, I'm excited to learn more about this process and continue to contribute to our district.
I'm Shannon Johnston. I'm doing great. I'm Executive Director of School Development. I work with the elementary schools. No time constraints, no elephants, and the expectation is to have a productive meeting.
Hi, my name is Marcia Burr. I am doing very well. I am an Executive Director with the school district, working with elementary schools. No time constraints, no elephants, and I'm gonna go with have a productive meeting.
Hi, I'm Teresa Bowen. I'm the Director of Exceptional Student Education. I have no time constraints, so I've got to say I'm doing wonderful. Have no idea who would be missing, no elephants, and I would like to have a productive meeting.
Good evening, my name is Candy Messenger. I am the Director of Food and Nutrition Services. No time constraints. Missing has been noted, no elephants, and my expectation is to get off to a good start.
Good evening, my name is Barbara Cedino. I'm the Director for Maintenance Services. I do have a time constraint of 6:30 this evening. Missing as noted, no elephants, and my expectation would be the same to have a productive meeting. Thank you.
Good afternoon, my name is Bonnie McFarland. I'm doing well. I'm the Director of Insurance and Benefits Management in the Human Resources Department, our division, excuse me. I have no time constraints beyond our end time of our meeting. I do have the list, so I can tell you who hasn't signed in. I'm guessing they're missing. Chris Rasmussen, Chris Cox.
Oh, Chris is here.
Oh, wait, wrong one. I didn't go down far enough, my apologies. David Montaigne, yes, I'm sorry, I should really get better glasses. Is it Salin Perez? Did I say that right? That's who's on the list and not here. Other than that, I have no elephants, and my expectation is to get off to a good start.
That's okay.
Feedback. There's feedback coming from this guy. Maybe not. Oh,
I got too close to it probably. We had this issue last week too.
I'll go stand by the door, Donna. So, good evening. My name is.
No, yes, is it too close to your, somebody recording on your computer? No? Okay.
Hey. You're right. How about now? A little better?
Yeah.
Great. All right, thank you. So, good evening. My name is Herb Bazan. I'm the Chief Negotiator for SPALC, Director Island Coast FEA. I'm doing fine. I have no time constraints. Missing, I think we got everyone except for Tony Abrams. She's going to be just a little late, I believe, this evening. I have no elephants, and my expectation is to get off to a good start.
Good afternoon. My name is Arlene Williams. I am the president of SPALC. I am doing well. No time constraint. Missing has been noted. No elephant. Expectation is I'm going with the principals. Let's get this party started.
Good afternoon, my name is Patrice Coates. I am doing fantastic. I am the VP of Paraprofessionals. I have no time constraints. Missing has been noted, no elephants. And this is my very first bargaining unit meeting, so I'm glad to be here, and I just want to just keep learning about the process, and like my president said, let's get this party started.
Do you want me to choose which one of these or what?
Get this party started.
Good afternoon, everybody. My name is Luis Rodriguez. I'm doing pretty good. I'm the VP of Clerk. I have no time constraints. I think the missing has been noted. I have no elephants, and my expectation would be to get off to a good start.
Good afternoon. My name is Tom Modeski. I'm doing fair to middling. My position is VP for custodians. I have no time constrictions. It's been noted who is missing. No elephants. Expectations. Hopefully we'll all work together for the district and for the people in Lee County.
Good evening, my name is Chris Cox. I'm doing well. I'm the Vice President for the Maintenance Department. I have no time constraints. Missing's been noted, no elephants, and I hope we get off to a great start.
Good afternoon. My name is Deborah Evans. I'm doing good. I'm VP for Transportation. The only person I know missing is Tony. No elephant. Expectation is equality for everyone. Okay, I believe got everybody. And if Tony comes in, we will check her in later. Let us just hang some safety changes here. All right, I believe everybody has an agenda. And once the check-in is complete, we do have to, because this is our first session, we do have to establish some norms this evening or this afternoon, how we're going to work throughout this process. So it is up to you to set those norms. So if you'd like to give me norms for those of you who haven't done this before, are things like start and end on time. How you want us to operate. So with that, do I have anybody who has a norm? Kirk?
May I give 3?
You may.
So let's do begin and end on time. Cell phones on silent. And minutes distributed before next bargaining session.
Okay, since Kerr got us started, it's a good start. Anything else? Arlie?
Stay on task and limited sidebars.
Okay. Give Amy a second to do that. Okay. Anybody else? Now, these norms will be posted each time we meet, so if you think of something after we've had a couple of sessions that you would like to add to the list, we can do that. You need to see it, Will? Oops.
I think one we've had in the past is issues, not individuals. And so trying to maintain confidentiality as best we can for a public meeting.
Okay. Anybody else? All right, we'll post those for tonight, and if you think of anything else, or if for the next meeting, we'll have them posted again, and we can, if you want to add anything, we can do that. Yep. So we have up here, begin and end on time, cell phones on silent, minutes distributed before the next meeting, stay on task, limited sidebars, issues, not individuals, and maintain confidentiality as best we can. First consensus, can I see thumbs if you agree to these norms? Up if you agree, sideways if you can live with it, down if you don't like them. I need to see everybody's thumbs. All right. Deborah, do you agree with these? Thank you. All right, we are good. All right. The next thing I'd like to touch on is the calendar. Now, this is our first meeting, and I know that when the meeting request was sent out, it kind of came in every other Monday. But if we look at tonight and then we look at the next Monday, it's Labor Day. So we will not be meeting on Labor Day. So that means the next meeting after that would be are they going to meet the 12th?
19th. We have a joint session?
Yes. Not as of this moment.
Okay.
So the next is 19th September?
Yes. Carl?
Did we have a joint session tentatively scheduled for the 12th?
I only have it as talc on my calendar.
We talked about it at CALC last week, but you said you needed to meet with SPALC before we could confirm that.
Then may we schedule the joint session for Monday, September 12th?
So instead of
Yes.
having talc bargaining, we'll have a joint session on the 12th
To discuss
to discuss.
benefits, I suspect.
Right. Is that okay with everybody? Okay, when we have a joint session, that means CALC and SPALC will be here together. So it will be a very large group. It'll be cozy. You may want to bring a mask because we're going to be sitting very close. So we'll put September 12th for the joint session. And then the next one, the week after that, September 19th would be the next SPALC session. And then we'll do every Monday after that, I believe. Although I heard something about the 26th of September was TELC, but didn't Kevin mention it was Rosh Hashanah? So there won't be a session on the 26th, I believe.
But that session was with talc.
Right.
Yeah.
So, we run into things like that all the time, but just keep in mind, we'll try to stick to every other Monday, unless something comes up. So is everybody okay with every other Monday, except for little blips in the radar? Okay. Excellent, we're moving right along. Okay, so the next thing we're going to do this evening is to do our snapshots. And on snapshots,
You have, or we have overview of IBB next on the agenda. I know that the SPALC team was just trained. I don't know if anyone on the district side wants the overview or how you wanted to proceed on it.
No, we could pass, we have a training tomorrow with them.
right. Okay. So next, we're going to do our snapshots. And for those of you who were here in the past, and for those of you who have recently had training, the snapshot is, remember, the brief overview of whatever article we're going to talk about. So we do story, but just little snippets of the story. We don't go into the whole full-blown story at this time. This is just to give us an idea of what we're looking at. We also do the interest. Why are we looking at this article? Why are we putting the story up here, and why are we looking at that article? And then if there's any request for additional information you may need to discuss that article, then we go ahead and put that up there as well. So whoever has to provide that information will have some time to get it together. So I believe Article 8 was the first one?
Yes. Evaluations.
All right, so we have some story on evaluations. Will.
So this is an article that we discussed at the last bargaining session, wanting to take a look at, and then we ran out of time last year. But some draft language has been shared with SPALC Labor Management Committee, and I think we're working to refine some of that. The overall goal was to try and capture the NEAT process. And NEAT stands for Notice, Evidence, Assistance, and Time. And I think assistance. And then I think that this is maybe more of a talc thing, but it kind of guides the way the district does things. We are required for a number of positions to submit a plan for how we're going to do evaluations and get that approved. I don't know that that's necessary for SPALC and positions. I don't think it's even necessary for a lot of admin positions, but for people that have instructional positions, we typically are required to get the evaluation system approved by the state.
Okay. Anything else for the story on evaluations? No. Do the teams, yeah, Rob?
Yeah, I mean, just like salary schedule and as a person that evaluates folks, it's a little bit, I've always struggled with the fact that we can't give someone a real high rating in SPALC or Ed. It's just satisfactory essentially. So as a snapshot, that may be something we want to discuss.
Absolutely. Bert.
There was some discussion at a SPALC labor management meeting in the past year or so, just talking about mirroring the current instructional, ratings, effective, highly effective, needs improvement, unsatisfactory. But again, that was just conversation at a labor management meeting.
Okay. We can further that discussion here then. Will.
I think with that, and I don't know if there's others that wanted to add stuff more directly that supervise SPALC employees, but I think like Rob said, there's been the interest in being able to give that highly effective rating, but I also know the inconsistent rating that's currently on the SPALC evaluation is confusing. And we've had debate and discussion over that in the past, that you could have pretty significant misconduct that's inconsistent because you only get it once. And so how do you characterize that versus minor performance issues that maybe are more repetitive? So it doesn't really, communicate expectations well. It doesn't really give people much to go off of in terms of trying to make sure that they're doing what it is that they're supposed to do to get that higher rating.
Okay. Anything else? Amy has a little bit more room left on the paper. All right, if nothing else, what are the interests? Why are we looking at this evaluation issue? Will.
Student achievement.
Okay. Kurt.
Equity and clarity.
Okay. What? Will?
Employee morale and retention.
Okay. Yes, Matt.
Stakeholder retention. Something that would, for our student and give that type of feedback, something we believe that's deserving that.
Okay. Great. Anything else? Kurt?
Consistency.
Okay. Any Will?
I think, and this kind of sums up why the NEAT process is there for support and assistance. So if someone needs help doing a better job, that they're provided that help to figure out what it is that they need to do the job better.
Okay. Any other interest? Now, typically when we go to an article, when we start the full-blown process on this article, we'll have this, so we will have the interest up, because we always compare what we do to our interest. And if you ever think of something else you want to add interest to it, we can do that. Next thing is data. Do we need any information? Her.
I would like the list of job descriptions that we are required to report evaluations to the FLDOE that currently reside in SPALC.
Any other information you will need to proceed on this article? And you mentioned draft language, Will. Do the teams have that draft language yet?
I believe that we've shared the draft language. If we haven't, we can make sure that we get it. I know that Lisa Vasquez was helping take kind of the generic draft language and make sure that it was more custom tailored for SPALC employees.
Okay. Her?
I don't have the evaluation in front of me. I can't remember exactly what the outcomes were, but it'd be nice to have a breakdown based on the number of meets, inconsistent and unsatisfactory, maybe the number of employees in each of those categories.
Well,
you're thinking for last year to have like whose final evaluation rating was in each category?
Yes, that's correct.
Okay. I don't know if we can pull that, but we'll see what we can get.
Okay. Anything else on Article 8 for evaluation? All right. You did pretty well filling up that page. And what was that, page 5, Amy? Okay, the next article is what? 10? 10?
Yes.
10. All right, we're looking at Article 10, which is compensation. Okay, story on compensation. Remember, just snippets, not the whole blown out story. Her.
There's a need on the SPALC side to address compression.
I think that's me under certain speakers.
Address compression due to the new increase to the $15 an hour minimum wage.
Okay. Okay, Rob?
There is a mutual interest in addressing compression due to the $15 minimum wage.
Okay. Chris?
Market rate. Talk about.
You need the microphone, hold on. Yeah, because we're broadcasting, so.
Sure, very much like to get into this market rate. Address the scenario is what's happening with it.
Okay. All right, anything else for story for compensation? All right, Will?
I know that there had been some interest in the past in looking at trying to support SPALC's efforts to promote the member benefit for the college tuition.
Okay.
And I don't think that SPALC has a highest degree supplement currently. I also know that there were some concerns around pay delivery for longevity that we've discussed, that we kind of left to discuss this year, that we probably need to come back to.
Well, can I clarify something, sorry? Promote member benefit of college reimbursement? Or what did you say, college?
Highest degree supplement. Yeah, highest degree supplement. I think SPALC and TALC have free tuition as a benefit for members. And so I think they were looking at trying to pair that with a highest degree supplement.
And the second part, I apologize.
Pay delivery for longevity.
Let Amy finish and then. Okay, yeah.
Increase the workload without compensation.
Okay, anything else? Rob?
Now, Will turned to me and said he's not arguing for that, and I said, no, I don't think that's the impact of increase in workload, I suspect is what the point is, correct?
Yeah.
Yeah, okay.
Okay. Anything else for the story on compensation? Her.
Make a note that there's been record inflation and extreme, well, I guess it's redundant as a crisis. There's an affordable housing crisis that we're facing as well. That's really impacting our members.
Okay, Will.
Just to add to what Kurt was saying, I know in the past we've talked about the ALIS report that United Way does, and that's the asset limited income constrained employed. It's basically United Way's measure of who's working and earns enough that they're not able to receive public assistance or other benefits. Their report said that there's been like a 15% increase in the number of people statewide who meet that definition, meaning that there's more demands on their limited resources, making it harder for people to save and harder for people to purchase homes and get ahead.
And we have a little bit more space. Anything else that we need to put up there now? Yes, Kurt.
I just have a question for what Will said. So are you, just to rephrase, are you saying that there's been a 15% increase in basically the working poor in our area?
Yes, I think the ALIS report had statewide statistics and saying that's since the start of the COVID pandemic. I think prior to that, about a third of Lee County residents were considered to be part of that working poor kind of classification, and that it's up to almost 45% now statewide. Lee County had, I think, slightly higher people in that working poor classification, slightly lower in the, below the poverty line in comparison with the state. But that's new information that we we found today, and that Alice report and all the information that's online on the United Way website.
Right.
I'm just making sure Kurt didn't have something to say in response to that. No? Okay. So I just want to, for clarity purposes, indicate that the contract we just settled is the 22-23 contract year which we're in currently. So, and I'm doing that simply to say that on October 14th, the retention bonus of $1,000 will be paid to those folks that were working for us last year and continued working for us this year. So I just wanted to make a note that even though we're in next year's bargaining, there's an amount being paid in a bonus coming up in a few weeks.
Okay. Anything else? All right, what are our interests to deal with compensation? Rod?
Recruiting and retention.
Okay. Anything else? Her?
Employee morale and livable wage.
Okay. Jamie?
Stability for the buildings.
Just pass it right next to you.
I would add on to that quality of the work, because consistency, if retained, can lead to high quality. Some of these positions have a high level of onboarding knowledge needed to get to proficiency.
Anything else? Any other interests? Bonnie?
Manageability and clarity.
Okay, anything else?
One more, respect.
All right, that trigger anything in anybody, any thought in anybody else? Other than Aretha Franklin.
We're singing over here too.
Okay. Information, data needed. Anything needed by anybody? Sure.
Yeah, we have a couple of things. One of our colleagues mentioned increased workload, so we'd like some data around, what do I want to say, the expectation around custodial square footage. You know, how much space they're expected to to clean. Another data request that we have is just data around market rate and where we're currently sitting as it relates to state averages and the market around Southwest Florida. I'm sure it's changed drastically since we looked at it last time with the global pandemic and all.
Okay, anything else? The information we may need. All right, I would say we're done with the Article 10 snapshot. See if I can come over here now without. Article 12, 11. Oh. Okay, Article 11, benefits. Story for benefits. Rob?
Yeah, so, we have a significant, and I know I'm going down a road, which we're gonna get to in a few minutes, regarding interests, but we have a significant interest in discussing medical insurance and other benefits. Probably much more so than in past years, because we have some issues that we need to deal with, and those of you that are on the insurance task force are aware of them. Some of these issues are acute, and we need to do what's right by employees in the district to remedy those issues. So with that, I'll pass this, if one of you can bring this to Bonnie, so she can speak of her area of expertise.
All right, Bonnie, when you get the mic, go for it. Understandable.
So I think part of the story that we need to talk about is what's called medical trend, which, while we all are familiar with the term of inflation, medical trend is essentially inflation that's specific to medical care.
Medical insurance, medical care.
Medical care, which ultimately translates to medical insurance, is kind of one and the same, either one.
Okay.
This is an area that has not received a great deal of focus in certain years in the past, which has created a deficit situation that we can talk more about when we get into the story. Trying to put up enough there that it makes sense, but for those of you who know me and sit on the ITF, I could talk for the next 3 hours about this, but I don't think that's what you want to do.
You have a whole session just for you, Bonnie. And it's 3 hours, so you're good.
And we do have an entire subcommittee. There's a bargaining subcommittee called the Insurance Task Force. I think that's important for people to know that it's a collaborative committee that makes recommendations to the board around insurance items. And I think lastly, if I can maybe read Will's mind from prior conversations, this is a relatively short article. I think it's 2 pages. And there's also opportunities for conversations around, what are benefits? That definition has kind of been changing. And we've been doing a lot to provide additional items, not only specifically insurance, but around wellness, mental health, and those sorts of things. So I would say wellness, EAP, and other benefit-related items.
And other benefit-related items.
I know, but you said something before EAP, wellness.
Mental health.
Okay. Anything else, Bonnie?
I think that's good for a start.
Okay.
Unless any of I know Kurt is on the ITF. I know Arlene is going to be, or Lise, I'm sorry, is going to be. I know we've got a couple ITF members on our side as well.
All right, Will?
Just to add to what Bonnie mentioned, because I know these are some of the other things like wellness and EAP. There has also been kind of side conversations about childcare needs of employees, retirement needs of employees, and then just the concept of total compensation.
Okay, anything else? Kirk?
Sorry, I was writing things down when Bonnie was speaking. Did you mention the board contribution? Part of what we've been discussing in insurance task force is the board contribution, which is what we bargain over. And I think it's important for the headline that the school district of Lee County has the lowest contribution, employer contribution among Lee County government employers. And we're also battling very high medical trend. I think we said it was upwards of 10% or more. So the contribution doesn't quite keep up with the trend. And the last thing, Amy, am I going too fast? The last thing
Keeping
is,
up with medical trend up here. Yes, it's okay, she's got it up here.
that's fine. And the last thing I wanted to remark on is there's language in Article 11 about a reserve fund, and the reserve fund can only be touched by the ITF, and we've been using the reserve fund strategically over the years to mitigate insurance increases to employees of the school district.
Hold on a sec, Bonnie. All right.
So thank you, Corey, you reminded me. If I can use the last inch of space just to delineate that the funding towards the health plan is determined during bargaining. And then the ITF takes the bargained dollars and works to purchase the best plan with the dollars that are allocated in bargaining. So money for the health insurance plan, the money that goes into the health insurance plan from the district is determined at this table.
Okay. And that fills up the space. Our interest for this. Rob?
Retention and recruiting.
Anybody else?
Manageability.
Manageability, thank you. Anything else? Kurt?
I have a couple here. Employee affordability, employee wellness, and access and usability.
Okay. Anything else? Any other interest? Okay, I'm going to move, and I'm going to guarantee that there's going to be lots of this on the 12th, data, but does anybody want to specifically say anything now, or?
We would definitely like to see the trend data. I'm sure that's included in the presentation, and also specifically the impact of COVID on the plan.
Anything else? All right, remember this will be, on this particular article, a joint meeting on the 12th. So get prepared. All right, we have one more article?
Yes.
Article 12. Okay. All right. about leaves? What's the issue here?
So this is another article that I think we were trying to get to for probably a couple years ago. It's unlike benefits being a short article, this is one of the longest and most confusing articles because it borrows so much from state statute. So we have a proposed rewrite that would help hopefully make that easier to read and help set more manageable expectations for everyone around how leave is supposed to work.
Okay. Anybody else? Story to add? Again, do we have, her?
We've also recently, in the past couple of months, been discussing adding some language around compassionate leave related to miscarriages, stillbirth, and other complications during pregnancy.
Will?
I think one of the other areas, like Kerr mentioned with compassionate leave, that we also talked about kind of clarifying expectations was around leave for people that are either victims or experiencing family issues with sexual violence or domestic violence.
Anything else? The story on leaves? Any other issues, problems? All right, that's a short story. What are our interests? Rob. Pay attention. You know what's on the minds. Okay.
Yeah, I don't know how to exactly say this, but I think over the last few years with increasing mental health traumas, potentially a reduction of incidents leading to like professional standards or concerns related to that. If leave were associated with that could find time for that mental health, that would potentially reduce those incidents happening in the workplace.
Okay.
Safety. Yeah. Safety. We also don't want people coming to work sick also, so.
Correct. Kerr.
Say clarity and I'm not sure if understandability is a word, but being able to read the article and understand what the words on the page are trying to say.
That's all right, it's a word now. Once it gets on the chart, that's it.
Yeah, clarity was one of mine, but I think more in line with compliance because sick leave is governed by Florida law, so we need to comply.
Okay. Bonnie.
I think what Rob just said is also part of the story. There's, right here. There's Florida statute that has comply with.
Okay. All right, anything else? The story or interest? And is there any information or data you need for leave to discuss this? Her?
I know there's a draft version floating out there. It'd be nice to have the red line or the crosswalk version, however we described it. Also, some of the statutory language as it relates to employees who are on vacation.
Okay, anything else? Story, interest? interest, data request for Article 12. Okay, that concludes our snapshots, I believe. We have more? Another article?
Yes, SPALC has articles that they wanted to open as well.
Oh, okay. What's the first article, Kerr?
Article 2,
Which is?
I just had it.
Rights, privileges, and responsibilities. Okay. That's what I thought. All right, give Amy a second to set that up. Okay, go ahead with story.
It's very, very quick. Because there has been a change in SPALC leadership, we need to discuss association leave as it relates to the full-time release president.
Yes.
Yes.
Anything else? That's it?
That's it.
Interest?
I have a question
Right.
about it, yeah. So we have an item going to the board on the 30th regarding the President's Association leave. Does this impact that?
It could, only because we wanted to discuss hours worked per day.
I'm not sure we need to have the conversation at the table. We'll have the conversation, but I don't know whether I should be putting Ms. Williams on leave or not on the 30th, so I guess that's what I need to know.
The full-time release will not change. As we currently understand it, that it's not paid at a full 8-hour day rate, and that's what we wanted to negotiate, and actually put it in the contract so there's no question, here on out.
Our lease is still going up, I believe, on the 30th.
Yeah.
Okay. Anything else then? Arlene?
What day did you get for my leave?
The board will approve it on the 30th of August, yeah.
Okay.
Yeah,
So you know
the next board meeting.
Okay, because I've been in this position, okay.
Yeah, I know.
Thank you.
Okay, anything else on Article 2? Our interest? Oh, we have one. Anything else for interest? And I don't think we need any data, right? No, okay. What's the next article?
Article 5, general employment practices.
Okay, go ahead with story. Elise?
We are having. We are still having issues in transportation with our RTM. For example, I had a driver to send me her clock in and out time for the last 3 days of last week. All 3 of them was different. It should have been because she's on light duty, so basically she's working the same thing. And it's just major issues with the RTM. We have drivers that won't even go on and claim their extra work. Bottom line, what preschool looks like for transportation department is they have to have 4 basically clock-ins a day per training. And no other department is clocking in that much. And basically, saying that they're working, they clock in once and that's it. But in transportation, it's 4 times.
And that's just during preschool?
That's just during preschool. And basically, a driver or attendant RTM can change every single day. So if a driver has a student that's in a seatbelt and they get switched to a car seat, their RTM change. It can change in the morning, it can change in the afternoon. It's just a lot for the drivers to keep up with their time.
Okay. Anything else for story?
Should we say the RTMs can change daily or often?
It can change actually in the AM and PM, so it can change twice a day. You're welcome.
Okay. Anything else for story here? General employment practices? Okay, if nothing else, interest? Kurt?
Clarity.
Elise?
Fairness.
Okay, anything else?
Even, I would say, compensation, and the reason why is because a lot of times they're putting in as paperwork, and they're not even getting paid for it. So.
Yeah, that would be more story right now, so we'll put that on the story side and can expand on that when we get to this article, okay? All right, any other interest? Well,
Had a couple for Article 5, and these are somewhat housekeeping, but I think we added some language last year to some of the terms of employment about resignation and retirement, and just kind of generally how that works. Yes, yeah, sorry. I also know that at some point last year, there was a draft MOU that was kind of floating back and forth about like timing of people changing positions. So if someone were to be hired to work at a new location, how long should it take for them to be able to start at that new location? And I know that it's different for SPALC employees, because oftentimes, that difference in commute makes a difference, or there's differences in pay. So just wanted to kind of put that on there. And then I think another piece of story related to Article 5 that came up, and I don't know if it's a bargaining conversation or maybe more of a labor management one, but I think there was some question about kind of the status of head custodian and assistant manager positions, and how do we make sure that those people are able to receive the training to take on leadership roles, either as building supervisors or food service managers, given that there's some limitations around what a member of the bargaining unit can be involved in when it comes to decision making that impacts another employee in the bargaining unit.
okay, that was a lot.
Yeah, sorry about that. I wish I had a shorter way to say it.
So head custodian, assistant manager position, training.
I think Yeah, just like on how to train them to become managers or supervisors.
Okay. And then I do have one question before that, is that draft MOU about timing of what?
Of employees basically transferring or taking positions at other locations. Like internal transfers, I guess.
All right, Will, did I see your hand up? I mean, Kurt.
I'm not sure if this is bargaining or if this is a labor management issue, but I'll throw this out too. We currently just worked through one, so it's regarding light duty and the availability of alternate locations for light duty work.
Okay. If we want to expand on them when we do the full story and decide to kick it back to labor management, we can do that. So we'll just put both those things down right now. Will?
I think this is kind of a split of Article 5 and Article 10 maybe. But there was also an interest in discussing how SPALC employees are compensated when they're filling in for other positions. So if someone were to have a regular position, and they're working as kind of a custodian or food service worker on the side, how they're being compensated the same in terms of the shortage of drivers and attendants, and would there be an opportunity for someone to have that as a second position, and how they would be compensated for that.
Okay.
Obviously, they'd have to have a CDL before we would allow them to drive a bus, but.
Okay, the page is full, the writing's getting really small now. All right, anything else, any interest? Arlie?
Story.
Story. She'll find a space for it, just keep it short.
Lost of seniority.
Lots of seniority?
Mm-hmm.
When you transfer.
And what's happening is, and I'm quite sure it's happening all over the district, but in transportation, we have safety people, supervisors, at some compounds, we're having routers and people in different positions, were bus drivers, and they're going into these positions, but they never stop driving. All of these people are losing their seniority numbers, so it's like if they go back, if they want to go back to driving, they have lost their seniority number, but they never stop driving.
Okay. So we just did loss of seniority because of time, because of space, but we'll include everything you just said when we get to the full story. Any further interest? We have clarity and fairness up there.
Consistency.
Consistency. Thank you. Okay, anything else? All right, do you need any information, data?
Not right now.
Not right now. All right, do you have another article?
No.
Okay. You're good. All right, so we don't have any more snapshots. So, we're at that point where we can take one of these snapshots and do the expansion on it, or we can say we've done a good day's work today and finish at 5:15. So, what's your pleasure? Kurt?
I just lost my calendar. Since our next session is the joint session and we don't come back to the table until the 19th, I think Will is sending or has sent out the articles 8 and 12. So I propose that we wrap up for the day, come back and do insurance on the 12th and start with 8 and 12 on the 19th.
that a good plan for everybody? Rob?
Sounds like a plan.
All right, with that, let's just do a quick checkup. Your expectations tonight were to get off to a good start, get this party started, learn more about the process, have a productive meeting, we'll all work together and do quality for everyone.
Donna?
Yeah.
Before you do that.
Yes, sir.
Can we just document what Kurt just said? Just because it's almost a month out.
Oh, yeah, sure.
I just want to make sure on the 19th, we're not all looking at each other like.
Okay. Okay. You are on page 11, yeah.
It would just say review Articles 8 and 9 prior to meeting. 8 and 12, see? 8 and 12.
And it wouldn't hurt if you go over the benefits contractual language before on the 12th either.
Correct.
Insurance can get pretty complicated and confusing and. I know.
And then we'll start our session on the 19th discussing Articles 8 and 12.
Okay. Start session on the 19th.
I have to review Articles 8 and 12 for the next meeting.
Before next meeting on September 12th is what she has up there. But it's the 19th.
Yeah, okay. And then we are going to have a joint session.
Correct. And Donna, I'm sorry I interrupted you.
That's okay, not a problem, Rob. Remember, I was in a classroom at one point, I'm totally used to that. Even though it's been a long, long time. Okay, so let's see, just hands, 5, we met your expectations, or 1 is the lowest we did not meet your expectations. So anywhere between 1 and 5. This is called the checkout, for those of you who haven't done the process, and we try to, sometimes we don't do it, sometimes we do, you can put your hands down. Sometimes we don't do it, sometimes we'll just do something quick like that. And with that, have a wonderful evening, and you're welcome.